Hypocrite.
You are alone. Not good enough.
You don't have a behavior problem. You have a thinking problem. And if no one has told you that yet, let this be your wake-up call. The reason you keep falling into the same sin, the same anxiety, the same cycles, is not because you don't love God. It's because your mind is still loyal to a version of you that Christ already died to destroy. You pray, you fast, you go to church, but your thoughts are still trained by fear, lust, comparison, and doubt. And here's the shocking truth. As long as your thinking doesn't change, your life will never change. You can confess Christ with your mouth, but if your mind is still thinking like the world, your life will keep reflecting it. Many Christians are frustrated because they're trying to live a spiritual life with a carnal mind. They want peace, but they think in panic. They want purity, but they fantasize in secret. They want faith, but they rehearse fear daily. And then they wonder why nothing changes. But your life always moves in the direction of your strongest thoughts, not your occasional prayers, not your Sunday worship. Your thoughts, the ones you entertain when no one is watching, the ones you repeat in silence, the ones you believe without even questioning them. You've asked it before, haven't you? If I truly love God, why can't I control my thoughts? Why does my mind betray me? Why do I imagine things I hate? Why do I feel trapped in my own head? Listen carefully, because this is where everything shifts. The battlefield is not out there. It's not your job, not your friends, not your circumstances. The battlefield is your mind. And if you lose there, you lose everywhere. But if you win there, everything changes. Rewiring your brain to think like Christ is not a motivational idea. It's a war strategy. And if you don't approach it like war, you will keep losing quietly. The first pillar is what I call the wilderness transformation. You need a mental fast, not just from food, but from everything that has been feeding your mind poison. Right now, your thoughts are not random. They are programmed by what you watch, what you listen to, who you talk to, what you scroll through late at night. Every piece of content is shaping your inner world. And if your mind feeds on chaos, your life will produce chaos. So here's the challenge. For 7 days, remove the noise. Cut off anything that pulls your mind away from God. Social media that triggers comparison. Music that feeds your flesh. Conversations that drain your spirit. Strip it all away and replace it with one thing only, the Word of God, because your mind cannot be empty. It will either be filled with truth or filled with lies. There is no neutral ground. This is what transformation feels like. It feels uncomfortable. It feels like withdrawal because you're starving the old version of yourself. But that's exactly what needs to happen. You don't need more motivation. You need detox. The second pillar is Daniel's filter. You must become extremely selective about what you allow into your mind. Not everything deserves your attention. Not every thought deserves a seat at your table. You've been too open, too available, too willing to entertain things that are slowly destroying you. You need standards, non-negotiable ones. Before you watch it, ask, is this pure? Before you listen, ask, is this building me or breaking me? Before you engage, ask, does this align with who God says I am? Because your eyes and your ears are not harmless. They are gateways, and whatever enters repeatedly will eventually take root. You cannot keep planting seeds of darkness and expect a harvest of light. It doesn't work like that. Thinking like Christ means rejecting anything that contradicts truth, even if it's popular, even if it's entertaining, even if everyone else is doing it. You are not called to think like everyone else. You are called to be transformed. The third pillar is Joshua's radical decision. This is where most people fail, because this is where it stops being theory and becomes confrontation. You must take authority over your thoughts. Not sometimes. Not when you feel strong. Every single day. Because thoughts don't just disappear. They must be confronted. When a thought of fear comes, you don't entertain it. You challenge it. When a thought of lust appears, you don't negotiate with it. You shut it down. When doubt whispers, you don't agree with it. You replace it. And here's the key most people miss. You cannot fight wrong thoughts with more thoughts. You fight them with truth, with the Word of God. That's your weapon, not willpower, not positive thinking, Truth. This is what it means to take every thought captive. You grab it, examine it, and if it doesn't align with Christ, you destroy it. Immediately. No delay. No compromise. Because every thought you tolerate today becomes a stronghold tomorrow. The fourth pillar is daily renewal. And this is where transformation becomes permanent. Because rewiring your mind is not a one-time event. It's a lifestyle. It's daily surrender, daily discipline, daily dying to the old patterns that once controlled you. You don't wake up one day thinking like Christ. You build it, thought by thought, decision by decision. Start your day with God, not your phone. Let truth shape your mind before the world gets access to it. Throughout the day, stay aware. Pay attention to what you're thinking. Don't let your mind drift into darkness unchecked. And at night, reflect. Examine your thoughts before God. Be honest, be real, and let Him correct you. Consistency is what rewires your brain, not intensity, not emotion. Consistency. And here's where it gets real. This process is not easy. It requires discipline. It requires sacrifice. It requires you to let go of things you secretly enjoy. But the alternative is worse. A divided mind, a restless soul, a life that never fully aligns with God. You can't afford that. Because peace is not something you chase. It's something you protect. And your thoughts determine whether you live in it or lose it. So if you're still wondering whether you can actually change, stop trying to stop bad thoughts. That's not the goal. The goal is to fill your mind so completely with truth that lies no longer have space to live. This is how transformation happens. Not by force, but by replacement. And right now, you have a decision to make. Stay mentally the same and keep living the same life. Or go to war with your thoughts and finally become who God created you to be. Because everything you're asking God to change externally starts with what you're willing to change internally. If you're ready to take that step, don't just think it. Declare it. Say it with intention. Lord, renew my mind today. And don't let that be just words. Let it be the beginning of a new way of thinking, a new way of living, a new identity. Because when your mind changes, everything changes.